Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. As I promised yesterday, we spoke about NVIDIA results, that the results were in line or even marginally better than what the market expectations were. But then the price did correct of 2%. Today, as we are talking, that 2% seems to have kind of slightly recovered, and there's no real movement in the market. There was expectation if the earnings was disastrous, there would have been a traumatic correction in the tech sector broadly, and everyone in the Nasdaq might have got a hammer to them. But somehow, thanks to NVIDIA's performance, it's because the reason why I'm putting in quote is, it is really, some of it is only looking back. Looking forward, with all the confusion in China, like I said, the Trump administration is very keen on not allowing any of this to China. And domestically in China, 3 factories are coming online. One is already online, another one is coming online in 2026. And the Chinese government leaning hard on their tech sector not to use NVIDIA chips and to use their own locally sourced and locally created chips. And the amount of pressure which is building in China not to touch NVIDIA, the future for NVIDIA in terms of earnings, the roads are rather looking bleak. All this put together, the growth peg ratio, as they say, price to earnings by growth, that is, NVIDIA is still considered to be attractive compared to the likes of Apple, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. All of their peg ratios are 2 or 3, while NVIDIA is just over 1. That considered where the PE ratio is at 51, I'm very confused. So I thought, let's have Anand say, are we missing something that we're not able to see? Because things are still very, very expensive if you're thinking about just numbers. What do you think, Anand?
For me, NVIDIA is very expensive. So are the Magnificent Seven, which is
Yes.
what you are comparing with. Let me tell you one thing. Profits to earnings growth ratio is called the PEG ratio. Is something where you measure the speed at which profits are growing, in which you are taking past performance and saying we will grow at the same rate in the future.
Correct.
0 to 1 is easy.
Yes.
1 to 2 is tough. 2 to 4 is even difficult. 4 to 8 is equally tough. 8 to 16 is even tougher. You have to keep running faster to stay where you are.
Very, very true.
So, PEG is not a very key indicator
Okay.
for me. That is for my level. I may be very defensive and very, very defensive player, but I prefer that. As far as I can understand, looking at a distance, there was a shortage in graphic cards during COVID. People were mining the
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin and they needed graphic cards. NVIDIA provided that gap, and that's how NVIDIA took off initially.
Initially, yes.
Then they had graphic processor units, and they have created the ecosystem like the 86 architecture. They have the architecture for graphics. It has become an universal code. Everybody writes software for that
They've
architecture.
created a framework for that. Yeah.
They created the framework based on which everybody works. Somebody else creates another framework, nobody is going to write for it.
But there's 2 booms. One was the Bitcoin boom. The second was, of course, ChatGPT. If you see the graph, right before ChatGPT was launched, they actually turned negative. Then, as soon as ChatGPT was launched, overnight it went to 80
So
plus.
what I'm trying to tell you is this. As of now, whatever ChatGPT can do, or whatever perplexity, as you call it, can do, mundane human tasks.
Mundane human tasks, yes.
Okay, it looks magical. Looking at a X-ray, it can tell you where the fractures are. These are tasks where repeated machine learning is possible,
True.
where there is no reason for intuition. Even before artificial intelligence came, a computer was a better radiologist than a radiologist himself. This has got better faster.
Correct. Most people forget that the term artificial intelligence is very old. It's from
Yeah.
the 1950s.
Now, what you are trying to do is basically what this artificial intelligence is. There's a huge database equipment of all information. This enables the computer to scan through the entire information very quickly and come with large language models. What they call is, it doesn't go through everything. Wherever there's equivalent words, it quickly picks it up, pieces it together, and writes it for you in a very cogent form.
Yeah, generative AI.
Generative AI. That is why after some time, if you read it, hallucinate it becomes repetitive.
Yes, and it hallucinates quite a bit.
It hallucinates quite a bit if you know the subject.
Yes.
But it looks magical because what you guys don't realize is 95% of human task is what is repeat grunt work. That grunt work is going to be replaced. If you guys think this is scary, you are not following what robotics is up to. Today, a Honda based robot or a Hyundai backed company which is doing it in Boston, all these guys can do most of the works that humans can do.
Correct.
You can, whatever bricklayer is doing, your robo will do it faster than a
Pure labor work it can
pure
handle.
labor work. It will do what a mason is doing, it will do faster.
Correct. Moving
That
gunny sacks of cement.
if it wants to lift 100 kilos of gunny sack, it will keep on lifting without tiring. That is more dangerous to me because in India, most people are doing those kind of jobs.
Yes, true grunt work.
True grunt work. That grunt work is going to go down. That should be scaring people more than whether NVIDIA is going to do it. It can even drive. Okay. But driverless cars are already there. It's going to come. It's only a matter of time before technology goes two steps further and you can produce a driverless car. All works you can, yeah, robo can operate better than a surgeon. That kind of work it will start to do in a matter of 15, 20 years.
But all this is required, then NVIDIA is required for all what
No,
you're
no,
saying,
no,
right?
no, no, no. What is today NVIDIA doing is used for only, as far as I can understand, because these technologies were there developing before NVIDIA. NVIDIA is not necessary for all this. What I'm trying to point out is several technologies are converging together.
Yes.
What you are now is a classic stock market boom. There is a technological disruption. People love the technological disruption. There's a lot of noise over it, a lot of hype over it, and people are pushing up the stock prices like this before. Like I said this, and nobody realized this before. When somebody looked at the comments and told me there was a railway bubble, Charles Darwin lost a lot of money in that. There was a South Sea bubble, Newton lost a lot of money. Two of the greatest minds in science have lost a lot of money in it. Telegraph bubble, there was an internet bubble, and this is also a bubble.
Yeah.
And there was 127 companies made cars, only three survived. We don't know who will survive in AI.
Correct. That's what the fundamental things you guys don't remember and you're not wishing to take notice of. What Anand is saying is he's not questioning technology. He says technology is evident and it's imperative that human beings develop technology to make our lives easier, and we move towards this always. We always make progresses in these kinds of bursts when we see a huge transition happen. But what Anand is trying to say is, during this period of transition, you'll have 100, 200 odd companies competing with each other, trying to dominate, which happened during cars, it happened during railways, it happened repeatedly. So we do not know for certain that NVIDIA, when the dust settles with all this technology transition, that it will be required, the volume it will be required.
Yes.
That is the issue.
See, I do not know whether NVIDIA will grow 100% every year.
Correct.
NVIDIA could still be a very successful company.
Yes.
But it grow at 20% a year, 10% a year. This wall number in price does not expect NVIDIA to grow at 40-50% every year.
Correct.
There is already demand stalling in China, and Trump is making absurd demands. There's pushback for that. There is no way the Chinese are going to pay 20% more for Trump's sake. So this bubble will end. NVIDIA may survive. Like Intel was the dominant player for 30-40 years, NVIDIA can be a dominant player in the next 35 years. But what I'm trying to tell you is not at this PE ratio, not at this absurd valuation. Valuations will become more nominal.
Correct.
What you should do is when Bard was launched, when Gemini was launched, they punished Google. If you had bought Google then, you will be 30 to 40% up.
Correct. There was a time just in the beginning of the year when NVIDIA was punished with the initial sanctions, tariffs were spoken about. It went tipped below $100. So if you had,
If you were really following it, you would have bought NVIDIA at that time.
correct,
So what I'm trying to tell you is the stock price of NVIDIA has nothing to do with the future of NVIDIA as a company.
correct. Those are two separate issues. We are talking purely in terms of,
I'm talking about the price
yes,
at which NVIDIA is.
correct. Whenever we talk about valuations and we talk about investment opportunities in AI, we try to look at it purely in the lens of an investor. We're not concerned about the technology in the sense of will it be applicable, will it be useful. We're not arguing that. What we're trying to say is, considering what NVIDIA is doing and their product portfolio and how it's used, does it justify the price it's demanding in the market? Is it correct? Is what we're asking. And right now, at these kinds of price, the risk does not justify what it's asking for.
Thank you for watching Be Rich. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Kindly send this video to your friends and relatives and have them take a look. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich.
Thank you.